how much should I charge for my services? And not just filmmakers now, creatives as well. There's always been arguments, about should we charge hourly or daily, or should it be project based? To be honest, every project is different, and so depending on how you're approaching it, my point blank recommendation would be, whenever you're approaching a project as a production company, I'm assuming that you have a registered production company, then it definitely should be project based. But when you are working, say, as a freelancer, then you might want to not necessarily charge hourly, but using the hourly rate to guide your project-based pricing, which is what I'm going to be getting more into in this video. So stick around and I'll be right back after this thing I dropped. And so in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips that I have personally used in my 8 years of doing filmmaking to guide my pricing and my budgeting depending on the project that I am dealing with. Whether it is hourly rate, daily rate, project-based rate, you cannot escape your daily rate. So we need to start there. So I think the first tip I would give you is research and evaluation. What do I mean by this? You cannot just pull out figures from thin air. You cannot just wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm going to be charging this amount. No. Well, you can, but don't. Okay, find out what other creatives, what other filmmakers, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever the particular discipline you're doing, find out what they're charging, especially in the area of specialty. So if it's weddings you're doing, if it's corporate documentaries you're doing, find out how much they're charging. All right, both the ones in your area, and it might help to also know the ones that are outside of your area, just so that there's some comparison. So by the time you know this fee, now evaluate yourself, check out their work. Like, look at their work, look at your own work, and honestly evaluate yourself. Is your skill level up to theirs? Can you produce the same quality? It's not just about the quality. Can you render the same service that they render? If you can, then you can start to gauge your figure around that figure. And it's important for me to note that experience also matters. So you may look at the person's work and say, oh, I can do better than that. Sure, but that person probably also has more experience than you. So don't be so quick to say, oh, if this guy is charging this amount, then I'll charge the same amount. No, you need to also consider experience. If that person has been doing this like 10 years before you, please don't be in a hurry to think that you can charge the same amount that they are charging. Okay, you might want to calm down a little bit and give yourself time to grow. You will just find that after a while you're just starting to charge higher because your skill and your experience is being valued and your network is also growing. If you like this content, please take a moment to subscribe and drop a comment. Thank you. Also, if you have gear that you own, like let's say you have a cinema camera and you have a set of cinema lenses, awesome. That adds up to your billables. That increases the amount that you can charge on your daily rate. So you would have a separate daily rate for when you just show up without your equipment to use the equipment provided, and you have a higher daily rate for when you show up with your equipment and all of that. So that's also something to consider. And in terms of, okay, with my gear, how much am I going to add? Very simple. Find out from the rental companies around you, how much are they charging for the camera that you own, and right there you already have your figure. So whenever you are now budgeting for a project, you charge the exact fee that you would otherwise have charged if you needed to go and rent it from a rental company. The second tip is time is money. This one is very special to me because I didn't learn it anywhere, and I'm even reluctant to share it with you, but I promise to give you value. So what you want to do is you want to clock every single job that you do. You shot and edited a wedding, clock it. What I mean by clocking is how long you spent on that particular project, especially in editing. Now, why is this important? It's important because by the time someone approaches you to say, oh, I have this project, how much are you going to charge? Now you can simply go back to the records of a similar project to the one that this person is proposing that you've done before, see how long it took you to work on that project, and then use that to gauge your daily rate. You can use Clockify. By the way, I use Clockify. It's a free app. Just register and it has all the projects and all of that. So you can use that hourly number that you have, that hourly record that you have on that project, use it to gauge a daily rate for this new project. Or you can also now take it a step further to use that daily rate and now use it to gauge a project based fee. It sounds very simple, but you have no idea how easy this has made budgeting and determining fees for projects easy for me. If you've grabbed it, congratulations, please send your offering. So like I said, I use Clockify. I have the app on my phone. I can also do it on my desktop, but there are lots of time tracking apps out there. Just find one that works for you. I simply use Clockify. Number 3 tip is one that is surprising how it's often forgotten about, and that's admin and production costs. As much as you have a daily rate, your work usually starts before the actual day that you start shooting, and whether you like it or not, I mean, we just spoke about how time is money. Even for those pre-production meetings, you have to go on location recce, you have to go on technical recces. You know, these little things, they add up into a substantial amount, they add up into a substantial sum, and if you do not budget for it, it's just going to keep eating into your actual profit. Even your facility, your studio, electricity, rent, those things. Of course, I'm not telling you to make your client to pay for your entire rent. No, a portion of it, you should take that into consideration. So there should be a portion of it that is going to go into your rent, not that your client will pay for your entire rent. Please, oh, I didn't tell you to do that. You know, even welfare, you know, man must eat. You will be hungry. Tip number 4, negotiating, the art of the deal. This is where a lot of creatives crumble. Yet they do this thing in their everyday lives, but they somehow find it difficult to transfer that skill into negotiating their fees. So let's imagine that you go into maybe Puma or Adidas or Nike, anyone. You go in there and you see 3 pairs that you really like, but by the time you check the price, you find that you can only afford 2. What do? You drop one, happy? Or worst case scenario, if you find that there is one that seems to cost a lot more than the other 2 and you prefer that one, then you drop the other 2 and you go with the more expensive one, depending on what you want. It's the same with your creative work. A client comes to you with a set of deliverables and you tell them this is how much it's going to cost. If the client says, hey, we can't afford your fee, what you're asking is too much, we can't afford it, can you bring it down? Okay, what is your budget? When they tell you your budget, you go back and adjust the deliverables. So you adjust the deliverables to fit their budget. It's really that simple. You are rendering a service. You are not selling tomatoes. You tell them, oh, this basket is 7,000 and they say, give me for 5K now. It doesn't work. This is what you want. This is what it will cost. You don't have enough. What do you have? This is what you have will give you. If you want more, you're going to have to add more. Simple. I mean, you go to DSTV and you say you want the premium package and they tell you exactly what it's going to cost and you don't have money for that. What's going to happen? They will give you the package that your money can fit. So maybe it's a compact package. That's what they will give you. You're not going to get that premium just because you say, hey, do it for me now. Well, they will throw you out. Finally, number 5, never take a fee that you hate. People remember their experience working with you more than they do the actual work that you did. You will be grumpy when things go sideways, and things will go sideways. There will be delays, you know, there will be a lot of waiting, there might be adjustments, you know, those things will definitely happen. And if you took a fee that you didn't really like, the minute you know you're shooting for extra hour, you will be grumpy, you will be angry, and you are not wrong, you are human. But if you negotiated for a fee that is good, you're comfortable, you know that you're being compensated well for this thing, even when things go sideways, you're like, you know what, it's fine, you're paying me very well. If you want to spend another 2 hours, no problem. Spend another 3 hours, no problem. And so because you are able to now still remain in a good mood, you're still you know, working with them, trying to solve problems. They say, oh, can we try this? No problem, let's try it. They will remember that, you know, they would always remember that, and that would make them come to you for more. And that is it. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment in the comment section. I definitely want to hear your thoughts. I mean, these are just my own tips. These are the things that I've been using and continue to use. I would also like to hear how you go about setting your own prices. I always want to know how to make more money all the time. Check out the other videos on the channel. It's a wealth of knowledge, lots of stuff to learn here, and I will see you later.